Hi everyone. I realize I never really had a very, yeah, you can't really call this a formal introduction, but I guess never really had an introduction to my channel. So I'm just a stupid college student that kind of, as of now, has a lot of time on his hands and doesn't really know what to do with it. So I decided that since I absolutely love music and I love nothing more than keeping up with the latest music, and I hate myself if I go more than a couple days without hearing new music from some of my favorite bands. So I decided that I could do some reviewing of music. I could kind of put my thoughts on new music out there for other people to see in case they're a little weary of buying something or listening to something. So I figured I could just do that for fun. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm standing with this channel. I thought a good way to introduce myself and what I'll be dealing with, what I will be putting out here on this channel, would be to introduce you to my top 10 favorite bands. And I'll kind of, play a little song clip from each of them and stuff like that, kind of talk about them, why they're my favorite. So here we go. These are in no order, but first up that I'm going to list is Wage War. They are a metalcore band from Ocala, Florida, and they are a newer band. They only have one album out. They're going to have a new one coming up this year, but their only album, rather, Blueprints, has been probably, it's definitely one of my top 5 albums of all time, and it's their debut album, which is absolutely ridiculous. Their song The River is probably my favorite song I've ever heard, and overall the album is just completely solid. It's great metalcore, amazing riffs, awesome breakdowns that'll just, they just make you want to punch something. It's freaking great, and the clean vocals on the album are phenomenal. The screams are second to none. It's overall just a great album. They're a great band. They're great people. They work with A Day to Remember, who is it, Andrew Wade, I believe that, no, it's Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember that helped write the album, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from these guys, and even if they don't follow through with the rest of their stuff, Blueprints is enough to carry me over for a lifetime.
'Cause I'm telling you, you're all I need, I'll never leave, so you can drag me through.
Next up, we have Bring Me the Horizon, the alternative rock / metalcore / deathcore / every genre under the sun other than like rap and stuff band, and I absolutely love them. I like everything that they've put out. Unlike some people, I like everything from their Pray for Plagues era all the way through That's the Spirit. I think that the diversity is something that should be recognized. I think it is absolutely great that they are evolving as a band while, moderately sticking to their roots. I mean, you can still hear some sorts of heavier aspects in their songs, like Blasphemy on That's the Spirit. Or you can even go back to Sempiternal, and you can definitely hear some of their earlier root sounds. But That's the Spirit this one is my favorite album of all time. Disregard anything I say about any other album, unless a new one comes out that I start talking about. Disregard anything I say about any other album, because this is my favorite album of all time. I love the ambient aspects of it. I love Ali's vocals are phenomenal on this. I love just the synth and these little background riffs, it's just perfect. I can't find a single way I would change that album, and I hope that their new material is everything like it.
Fight!
The third band I will mention on this list is A Day to Remember. I'm going to keep this nice and short because I could go on talking about this band for hours with their diversity in their music and everything, but it's as simple as this. Their heavy stuff is so heavy. I want to punch a wall. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's so aggressive. The grittiness in Jeremy McKinnon's vocals and the heavier music, the deep darkness of the guitar work and the drumming is just absolutely phenomenal, and like it induces aggression and rage inside the body, and it's just perfect. Songs like Second Sucks and an underrated song, Life Lessons Learned the Hard Way. They're just absolutely so heavy. You want to punch a goat, for lack of better terminology. And then on the flip side, they've got their acoustic songs, their softer ones. I'd put End of Me in there. I would put I'm Already Gone, and all those like softer acoustic songs. And those are just beautiful. They're sing-alongs. And there's nothing wrong with them that I can think of, because McKinnon's voice is so soft and beautiful, and they've had guest vocalists on these songs, and it's just you cannot, they turn on like shuffle or anything like that, you never want to skip them. You could be on a playlist of deathcore music, and A Day to Remember acoustic song could go on, and you would never skip it, because it's just beautiful. And then they also have their pop punk songs. They're like more pop punk songs, like All I Want or Better Off This Way, and those are even beautiful. So there's just nothing wrong with this band, and I can never find anything wrong with them. Next up, Skillet. This is my childhood band. I grew up on Skillet. I couldn't have been 10 years old. I was at this age. I grew up in a really Christian household and everything. At this age, I was still listening to your just random like kidsy gospel songs at like 10 years old. Is kind of weird. Just getting into Christian radio, and my family and I were going to a music festival in Oshkosh, Wisconsin called Life Fest, and one of the bands on the side stage was named Skillet. This was before Skillet had released Comatose, their potential, I guess you could call it, as their breakout album. And it was exciting because this was my first like rock band that I really listened to. My dad showed me the song Rebirthing, and I fell in love with Skillet immediately. I became obsessed with Skillet. There has never been a point in my life where my most listened to song on iTunes or whatever it is has not been Skillet. I just keep going back to Skillet. I guess you could say they are my favorite band of all time. For me that almost changes pretty often, but Skillet is consistently there. I feel like I find it hard to critique any songs or any albums they release. There's what is the one, something about Religion, My Religion. That's the only like song that I can think of out of their past however many albums that I really just don't listen to. I absolutely love Skillet. I can't wait to see them in concert again. I've seen them many times. They never fail. If you ever get a chance to go see Skillet live, do it. Do not hesitate. Do not worry about cost. It could be $40,000. It'd be worth it. That's an exaggeration, but please see Skillet in concert. You will never regret it. They are absolutely amazing. Next up, we have progressive metalcore / gent or da gent, whether or not you pronounce it either way, or whether or not you're a Stevie T fan. Check him out, he's freaking hilarious. This band is called Periphery. They're a very popular gent band, probably the most popular, arguably. They're actually up for a Grammy for their for a song off their latest album, P3, which is Select Difficulty. And they are just an outstanding band. There's always a couple bands that have everything together. This band is extremely talented, all the way down to the bassist. Bassists who get too much crap. But Nolly shows everyone what's up. He's the bassist for Periphery. Misha Mansoor is the lead guitarist for Periphery. He writes most of the music, and he is absolutely amazing at what he does. Spencer Sotelo is the vocalist, and he blows most vocalists in any genre out of the water. His vocal range is ridiculous, his screams are brutal, and his falsetto is just absolutely beautiful. This band can go from just soft elevator music to just brutal death gent in like a couple seconds. It's absolutely amazing. I've loved just about everything these guys have put out. I've been following them ever since their second album, P2, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else these guys can put out. They just released P3 quite recently, so they won't have anything for probably another year or so, but I'm extremely excited to see where these guys can go in their career.
This time won't blame myself. It's been a long time coming, been a long time coming. This time I know you well. It's been a long time coming.
Next, we have post-hardcore band Dance Gavin Dance. Talk about having bands that have everything together. This band has been putting out consistently awesome material for over 10 years now. They're just absolutely phenomenal. They've gone through 3-4 vocal changes. They had Johnny Craig, Kurt Travis, and now Tillian Pearson. Oh god, there's no T in his name. Then, Tillian Pearson is now their vocalist, and they, like I said, it's just been consistent material. Will Swan is their guitarist. He does an absolutely phenomenal job. There's nobody else like him in the genre. He even raps from time to time. This band is everywhere. They go from, they're heavy when they need to be, they're funky when they like to be, they're catchy pretty much all the time. John Mess is their unclean vocalist. There is absolutely no one like him. There's absolutely no one with lyricism like that of John Mess's parts in songs, or even that of Tillian Pearson's parts in songs. They have multiple songs that are continuances. They have the Strawberry Swisher continuancy and the Robot with Human Hair continuancy. And this band is just absolutely amazing. I've loved just about everything these guys have put out for the past few albums. No matter who their vocalist is, they put out consistently great material. Tillian Pearson has a very unique voice to match up with John Mess's extremely unique unclean vocals, to match up with Will Swan's extremely unique guitar playing. This is more abstract music. There's not usually very many people that can down-talk this music because it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's my personal opinion. If you don't like them, I'm sorry. But Dance Gavin Dance is a band that I believe will be here for a long time, and I believe they will never let me down, so they're on this list.
All around the world, we can make time. Roughin' and stop it, cause I'm in my prime. Born in the north, just want to entertain ya. Cause I'm down for the state of Pennsylvania. I try not to whine, but I must warn ya.
You saw that right. I am not just a modern person. I do listen to some of the more classic, who am I kidding? That's not classic. But I listen to some of the more 90s style bands, the ones who weren't necessarily, they didn't have the peak of their popularity in the 2010s or anything like that. Red Hot Chili Peppers, I wasn't always the largest fan of them. In fact, it took quite a while for me to enjoy their music. I never really became a fan of them until about age 16 or so, but holy crap am I glad I am a fan of them. I own Californication and Stadium Arcadium, Mother's Milk, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I can't get enough of these Red Hot Chili Peppers. I absolutely love everything that they do. Obviously everyone loves the bass in Red Hot Chili Peppers, but personally I love so much more than that. I love the guitar work. It is so underrated on these Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, songs, whatever. It's a shame that it's so underrated. And without the guitar work, these songs would not be anything close to what they are. Obviously, the vocalist Anthony he gets a lot of credit for what he does, and actually some discredit for what he does. Some people don't like his vocals. I'm a huge fan of his vocals. I think he does a great job. I love obviously the bass work is always phenomenal from album to album. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, their more recent material is not as much something that I'm into. I'm into more their upbeat, their more rock songs than I am their softer songs. Obviously, I still love songs like Under the Bridge and Road Trippin', but their newer stuff has not been as much for me. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, thanks to their older stuff, still has a special place in my heart for the awesome music that they've put out.
I ponder of something great. My lungs will fill and then deflate. They fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's dire, my time today. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought, cause somebody stole my car radio.
21 Pilots. The duo is one of my favorite groups, and no, I'm not a teenage girl that found them off of whatever pop station they get played on nowadays. No, I've been following them since their Vessel days, since very quickly after they released Vessel, and I absolutely love everything they've put out. I think Blurryface is it's not quite as good as Vessels, but at the same time, I like Heathens a lot. I really love Heathens. It's one of my favorite tracks from them, so I'm excited to see if they take this route with their further music. Next up on the list, and second to last but not second to last in my heart, is I See Stars. They're a metalcore / electronicore / alternative rock / alternative metal band. Depending on which album you look at, you could even say they have some more pop-punkish roots if you look at some of their songs. But the reason I love this band is because they grew up with me. They progressed as I aged, as I became more mature as a person. And that was absolutely huge for me. Their days of End of the World Party and 3D were when I started getting into this kind of music and I started jamming that stuff. Then once I'd been listening to that kind of music for maybe 6 months, they come out with Digital Renegade. They step up their sound. It's a little bit more mature, a little bit heavier, a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more awesome. And then after that, they did New Demons. They matured their sound even more to an even heavier approach. And now that I'm sitting here in this stage of adulthood, they release their album entitled Treehouse. And I think this is their most mature sounding album to date. It's definitely their coolest album. It's not heavy at all. It's much more chill. But I love the sound. I think that every bit of the band has matured with this release, and I just can't wait to see if these guys are going to keep up with that sound, or if they're going to go with a heavier sound, or if they're going to go completely alt-rock. I can't wait to see. Last on the list isn't necessarily a band, but multiple bands that are bands, but aren't bands. Yeah, it's Jared Alonji. Everything that man has ever done. He's a comedian. He's a YouTuber that has multiple bands that he's released albums with. They're basically parody bands. And he's got a pop punk style band, Sunrise Skater Kids. They've parodied everything from The Story So Far to even just solid ballads about Star Wars. He's got Amidst the Graves Demons, that is his metalcore parody act. He's done For Today, Architects, A Day to Remember, The Devil Wears Prada. He's also got Canadian Softball. That's his parody of modern baseball. Not a fan of that one necessarily as much, just because I'm not that big of a fan of that kind of music. Vermicide Violence, which is his deathcore style, which he also did a parody of New Bring Me the Horizon with Vermicide Violence, just to show, they changed their sound. It's kind of a joke with that. Yeah, and Jared Alonji has he's amazing at writing music. It may all be just jokes for the most part, Like, you know, but he's so good at writing it. With his like fake band Rectangles, they're a gent band, like progressive metalcore. The songs he's written so far, I can't remember the name of the one because it's little cosmic metasymmetric verisimilitude or something like that. It's purposely large words, but the composition of that song sounds like it could be straight out of some sort of big name gent band. Honestly, it's a phenomenal song, and half these songs sound like they could be straight out of somebody else's discography. And I have to give Jared a lot of credit because I non-ironically jammed these songs. They're just that good. And hopefully Jared's planning some more releases this year. I'm pretty sure he is, but we'll have to find out and see. Alright guys, that concludes my list of my top 10 favorite bands. Now there's some bands that I didn't put on here that may or may not be my favorite bands. Honestly, this stuff changes from time to time, but I just wanted to give you guys a decent idea of some of the bands that I might be covering on this channel. Hopefully, you guys can make some inferences and some other ones that I'll cover on this channel if they're very similar to the ones that I listed on this channel in this video. There's a very good chance that I will be covering their new music on this channel. If there's anyone else that you guys would recommend that I cover, please let me know. Comment in one of the videos, and I will do my best to cover it. Please do not be turned off if I make a negative comment about a band you love. These are going to be my personal opinions. I'm going to do my best to keep my personal feelings about a band out of it and just judge the music. But thank you guys for checking out this channel. If you guys feel so obliged, please subscribe. I will not let you down. I will keep up with the new music. And I hope to have a lot of fun with this, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun watching these videos as well. Alright, peace.